Alright, so we're down to the final part of the conceptual framework for financial reporting. Ang katapusan na to, then tatalo na tayo dun sa discussion naman natin sa statement of financial position and so on and so forth. Okay, so sige, tapusin na natin itong discussion natin. Ito, again, hindi na to bago sa'yo kasi, di ba, nung nag-aaral tayo ng Intermediate Accounting 1, tinuruan natin kayo ng technique, di ba? At isa sa mga technique or part ng ating technique na dinidiscuss is to identify when is the time or when is the period to recognize and de-recognize the elements of the financial statement. Sa madaling salita, kailan ba yung time na ire-record natin siya at dapat siyang mag-appear sa financial statements at kailan yung panahon na kailangan na siyang maalis, ma-de-recognize in the financial statements. Okay, so yung in layman's term, ganun siya, kung kailan ire-record, kung kailan a-appear, or kailan aalisin. Okay, ngayon, in the discussion of the conceptual framework regarding recognition and recognition, ayan. So ano ba ang ibig sabihin nitong recognition na to? Yan. So again, ipapakita natin dito yung pinagkaiba ng old definition at saka ng new definition. However, okay, kung mapapansin mo, since nakapag-aral ka na ng Intermediate Accounting 1 at diniscuss natin yung cash and cash equivalent hanggang dun sa discussion ng investments, okay, may mapapansin ka na dun sa specific standard, ginagamit pa rin yung old definition, okay, ng recognition. Ang nabago lang dun sa conceptual framework, yung new definition ng recognition. Pero kung titingnan mo, yung mga particular line items, yung particular recognition principle or recognition definition, okay, ganun pa din, di ba? At tingnan natin itong old definition. Yan ha, mag-annotate tayo. From the old 2010 conceptual framework, define ang recognition as, okay, an entity should recognize an item, di ba? If it was probable and measured reliably. Or sa madaling salita, probable that future economic benefits will flow to the entity. Ngayon, kaya ito binago kasi kung mapapansin mo, di ba, may nakalagay na naman na future economic benefits, di ba? Binago na yung definition ng assets, okay. At syempre, nagkaroon din ng pagbabago dito sa old definition. Pero kung mapapansin mo, nakalagay, probable, ibig sabihin ng probable class, more than 50% yung chance, okay, na merong future economic benefits based on the old standard. And the cost or the value, di ba, pag i-recognize mo, may measurement, okay, can be determined reliably or measured reliably. Okay? Kung mapapansin mo, dun sa mga standards, makikita mo pa rin itong old definition for particular line item. Di ba? Sa property, plant and equipment, sa investment property, makikita mo pa rin yung word na probable and measured reliably or probable and measurable. Ha? Okay, so pero dito, for the sake of the new definition ng recognition, ano daw ang new definition? It is the process of capturing, okay, for inclusion, mapasama, diba? In the statement of financial position, financial performance, an item that meets the definition of assets, liability, equity, income, and expense. So sa madaling salita, isasama mo daw siya, ipepresent mo daw siya sa financial statements if it meets the definition ng assets, liability, equity, income, and expense na kung saan na-define natin doon sa part 4, the conceptual framework for financial reporting. Ano ba yung new definition ng assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expense. Okay, so pag na-meet niya daw yun yung time na magkakaroon na ng inclusion or ipapakita na in the financial statements kung saan man dapat siya mag-appear yung mga elements of the financial statements. But then again, sabi ko nga, kung titingnan mo, okay, kada line items, meron pa rin kang makikita ng definition ng when to recognize is yung makikita mo yung word is probable and measured reliably. By the way, pag sinabing measured reliably, ibig sabihin may naging basis yung measurement. Hindi basta hinulaan. Okay? Yan. Ay, tama, didiscuss naman natin sa kasunod na slide nito. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng measurement? Okay? So at least na-define na natin ngayon, pag pala na-meet niya yung definition, okay, ng elements of the financial statements, pwede mo na daw siyang i-include at ipakita sa financial statements kung saan man dapat siya nandun, including the notes to the financial statements. Okay? Oh. So pag sinabi mo namang de-recognize, ito na yung sinasabi natin. Meron ng tinatawag na removal or aalisin mo na siya doon. Okay? Removal of all or kung hindi man all, part of the recognized assets, liability from the entity's statement of financial position. Or kapag hindi na daw niya na-meet yung definition ng assets, liability, di ba? Yan ha, income and expense, but definitely sa assets and liability ito nagmamatter, yung the recognition, okay? Not more of sa income and expense, but of course, meron din, it applies, of course, kasi syempre, uma-appear din yan sa financial statements, but more of yung the recognition applies to assets and liabilities. So sabi nga dito, sa asset, kapag nawalan ka na ng control, o di ba, katulad nung na-define natin yung assets kanina, naandun pa rin yung control, ibig sabihin kahit ano pwede mong gawin. Okay? Control on what? All or part of the asset. And kapag wala ka ng liability, no more present obligation. Yan ha. So if it doesn't meet or hindi niya na nami-meet yung definition, okay, ng asset, liability, yan ha, equity, income, and expense. But more of, ang focus nga, sabi ko, assets and liability sa derecognition. Okay, nagkakaintindihan? So that's the definition of recognition and derecognition. Ngayon, let's now go to measurement. Diba? Sabi nga natin dun sa technique na itinuturo natin, pag sinabi nating measurement, magkano ba ang value? Kung ipapakita natin siya sa financial statements, how much? Ano ang basis? Diba? At ang sabi nga natin doon, we have the initial measurement and then we have the subsequent measurement. Pag sinabi natin subsequent measurement, nung unang beses tayo nag-record and then subsequently, magkano na siya? Diba? Parang halimbawa, si property, plant, and equipment except kailan, diba? Ang nangyayari, originally, we recognize it at cost. And then eventually, kapag pinili natin yung cost model, paano natin mini-measure? Diba? Cost less accumulated depreciation, less accumulated impairment loss kung meron man. Okay? So ganun yung sinasabing initial and subsequent measurement. So magkano ba dapat siya a-appear? So sabi dito, quantified in monetary terms and there should be a measurement basis. Okay? So ito naman common sense lang. Okay, ngayon, again, meron na namang pinagkaiba yung 2010 Conceptual Framework and then yung 2018 Conceptual Framework pagdating sa measurement basis. Kasi, okay, mag-annotate tayo. Doon sa 2010 Conceptual Framework, it did not include much guidance on the measurement basis. Okay ha? Walang specific guidelines. Pero dito sa 2018, sa updated Conceptual Framework, there are two categories of measurement. Okay? Number one, yung historical cost measurement. Ito yung na-encounter mo sa basic accounting, di ba? Yung entry value. Kaya sa tinawag na entry value, yung initial measurement mo. Di ba? Normally, historical cost or at cost. Yan, okay? And then, number two, yung subsequent or yung exit value niya. Diba? The current value measurement. Kasi initially, magkano, and then, lumipas ang mga panahon, magkano na siya. Okay. Kaya nga, doon pumapasok yung alin sa current value measurement. Diyan mo na i-encounter yung, yan, kakaroon halimbawa ng fair market value na or change in fair value. Diba? Or yung value in use. At saka yung current cost. Yan. Okay. So, historical, entry value, at saka exit value. Ganun na daw yung basis in accordance with the conceptual framework. Okay, yung latest conceptual framework. While on the 2010, hindi pa masyadong malinaw. Okay? Kung ano ba talaga yung susundin or category ng measurement. Okay? Kasunod. But of course, sabi nga natin, pag sinabi natin may mga ganyan, exit value or entry value, may measurement basis. Diba? Pag sinabi natin cost, ibig sabihin, ano ba yan? Lahat ba ng mga nagastos natin to bring the assets to usefulness or magamit siya or to operation or something like that. May basis pa rin talaga. Okay? So, okay na tayo sa recognition, measurement. Let's now go to presentation and disclosure again. Part din to ng technique na itinuturo natin, di ba? dapat alam mo when to present, how to present, paano ang presentation, di ba? So pag sinabi nating presentation, saan ba dapat siya mag-appear? Sa financial statements. Statement of financial position ba? Statement of comprehensive income? Statement of changes in equity? Statement of cash flows? Notes to the financial statements? Diba? Saan dapat siya mag-appear? And then, paano ang presentation? Kung halimbawa, assets yan, is it current? Is it non-current? For liabilities, is it current? Non-current? Okay? For income, is it revenue or gains? For expenses, is it operating expenses or mere losses? Okay? Or mere loss? Yun yung sinasabing presentation. Okay? And then pag sinabi naman natin disclosure, anong ibig sabihin ng disclosure? Okay. Sabi nga, part yung full disclosure principle or part ng completeness natin, okay, is to disclose the information that is needed for economic decision making. Yan ng mga primary users. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, makikita mo dun sa notes to the financial statements yung mga breakdown, yung accounting policies na ginamit, okay, and so on and so forth, na makakatulong for economic decision making. Yan. Kaya naman, ito, yan. Yan sinasabi natin, saan ipe-present, paano ipe-present. And then, pagdating sa disclosure, okay, ibig sabihin, with the appropriate disclosure in the notes of the financial statements at yung mga specific standard na nag-govern dun sa mga inaaral natin, halimbawa, cash and cash equivalent, receivables, yung mga financial instruments na yan, di ba? May sinasabi ang PFRS 9 kung ano ang kailangan mong i-disclose at required i-disclose. Pag pumunta naman tayo sa PAS 2, inventories, may sinasabing kailangan may disclosure ka rin. So yun yung sinasabing disclosures to the notes or notes to the financial statements. Okay? Ano pa? Yan. So, napag-aralan na natin ano yung financial statements, objective, elements. Let's now go to the underlying assumption. So, every time daw na magpe-prepare ka ng FS or financial statements, meron kang mga underlying assumptions na mga sinusunod. Pag sinabi nating underlying assumption, ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Okay, so sabi dito, basic notion or fundamental premise. Kumbaga, pag gagawa ka ng FS, ito yung mga i-consider mo in the presentation and preparation of financial statements. It is the bedrock or foundation of accounting. Okay? To avoid, ano daw? Misunderstanding. Diba? Kasi sabi natin, diba? Understandability. Okay? Part of enhancing qualitative characteristics. Okay? Understandability and usefulness of the financial statements. Okay? So mamaya, yan, makikita natin dito, ano, ito na pag-aralan mo na sa basic accounting. Kumbaga, review na lang natin dito. Okay? Itong mga underlying assumption. Okay, simulan natin dito. The only assumption mentioned in the conceptual framework, ibig sabihin ng explicit. Anong ibig sabihin ng explicit? Minention talaga, nakasulat. Okay? The only one is the going concern assumption. At ano ang ibig sabihin ng going concern assumption? We assume that the business or the entity will be what? Operating so on and so forth, may forever, yung sinasabi nga natin, kumbaga magtutuloy-tuloy yung business. Wala namang nag-prepare ng FS na ina-assume niya na next year, hindi na tayo going concern or mag-shutdown na yung business natin, hindi na magtutuloy. Wala namang ganon. Unless there are indicators na may question regarding your going concern. Diba? Regarding the continuity of the business. So pag ganon, yung FS hindi na naka-prepare on a going concern basis. Diba? Pero, okay, kung hindi naman yan magli-liquidate or hindi naman yan mag-shutdown, ang assumption natin, there is a continuity of the business. May forever, ika nga. Okay? Pag nagpe-prepare tayo ng financial statements. Ngayon, ito yung explicit, the going concern assumption. Merong mga implicit assumptions. At pag sinabing implicit assumption, kahit na hindi mo minention doon, common sense, alam natin na dapat ito yung mga assumption na sinusunod natin upon preparing or presentation of the financial statements. Ano-ano yun? Mag-annotate tayo. Yan. Oops. Yan, ayan. Okay. Business entity assumption o yung tinatawag nating entity concept. At di ba, napag-aralan natin sa basic accounting, anong ibig sabihin ng business entity assumption? Okay? Yung record ni Juan na business at yung record ni Pedro na business ay wag mong pagsasamahin. Okay? There is a separate, they are separate business entity. Meron silang sariling personality, kumbaga. Okay? At kung meron ka naman, ikaw, as a businessman, kung meron kang different businesses, wag mong pagsasamahin ang record nila. Wag mong pagsasamahin ang financial statements. Kasi unang-una, okay, mai-impair ang understandability. Hindi magkakaintindihan. Ano ba talaga ang katatayuan ng business? Tayo ba'y nagiging profitable? Lumalaki ba ang equity natin? Ano ba? Nagiging profitable ba tayo? And so on and so forth. Hindi mo siya mai-interpret kung yung mga businesses mo, paghahalu-haluin mo yung record. O kaya, different businesses, pinaghahalo-halo yung record. Hindi yun pwede under business entity assumption. Okay, kumbaga, kada entity or kada business, kung hindi man yan business, kung yan ay non-profit, okay, may sariling recording. At wag mo daw ihahalo dun sa iba na separate entity din. Okay, wag mong paghaluin ang FS ni Juan at saka ang FS ni Pedro. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Kumbaga common sense yun kahit hindi sabihin ng conceptual framework. Okay? Kasunod, time period or periodicity assumption. Again, common sense din ito. Okay? At ito ay nakakabit dun sa timeliness, 'di ba? Na qualitative characteristic kung saan, 'di ba, hindi na magiging significant ang financial information o hindi na siya magagamit o hindi na siya magiging useful kung hindi siya ipapakita sa atin on time, hindi siya mai-communicate sa mga users ng financial statements on time. Okay, kaya meron nga tayong sinusunod na time period or periodicity assumption na meron tayong period kung saan kailangan natin tong i-report sa mga users ng financial statements. Katulad ng napag-aralan natin dun sa part 4, di ba, ng conceptual framework for financial reporting, di ba? Pwede siyang yearly, pwedeng interim basis, di ba? At saka consistent, dapat comparable, di ba? For the usefulness of the financial statements. Alam nga namang yung last year, i-prepare mo ng 1 whole year, tapos this year, interim. Hindi magiging comparable yon. So, yun yung mga kailangan nating i-consider, di ba? Okay, in the preparation and presentation of the financial statements. May time period. Okay? At by default nga, 1 year ang ginagamit or 12 months. Okay? And then of course, since napapag-usapan yung measurement, alam ka namang mag-prepare ka ng FS ng walang value. O, ibig sabihin, merong monetary unit assumption. And then also, dito under monetary unit assumption, sinasabi din dapat kung ano bang ginamit mo na currency. Is it peso? Is it US dollar or other currencies? Di ba? At saka hindi rin pwedeng magkaiba. US dollar halimbawa yung previous year and then peso yung this year. Hindi magiging comparable yun. Hindi rin siya magiging useful in economic decision making. Okay? So part ng monetary unit, may measurement, merong basis yung measurement, and then of course, di ba, yung currency, kailangan nating ipakita. Okay? So, explicit and implicit assumptions in the as discussed in the conceptual framework. So dapat alam natin yung mga yan. Okay? Kapag magpe-prepare tayo ng financial statements. Yan. Okay? So hanggang dito na lang. Maiksi lang talaga. Okay? Yung part 5. Dapat pala tinapos ko na dun sa part 4. Ano? So any questions, comment, or reactions? Kasi itong presentation na ito ginagamit ko before pandemic pa. Okay? So again, magpasalamat tayo sa mga nanonood sa atin sa YouTube, di ba? Ating mga subscribers and non-subscribers. And then of course, magpasalamat tayo dun sa mga reference materials na ginagamit natin. Okay, kay Attorney Valix at saka yung kanyang mga co-authors. And then also, nanonood din tayo ng iba't ibang video lectures from various CPA reviewers para at least makita natin yung mga point of view nila or mga explanation nila, okay, na pwede natin i-impart. Okay? Sa inyong mga listeners at sa mga viewers. Okay? So again, thank you very much. At hanggang dito na lang itong video lecture na to. Ang kasunod na nating discussion dito sa CFAS is yung Statement of Financial Position to be followed by the Statement of Comprehensive Income and so on and so on. Okay? So thank you and happy learning.